All right, friends, give me a second while I set up really quick. I'm just going live right now, making sure everything is set up properly so that we can have a good video. All right. All right, friends, how you doing? This is Adventist AI Abe again, my friends, and we are back at it with another video. And we're going to be talking about something very, very interesting today. So thank you for being here and thank you for stopping by. This is your YouTube channel, a haven of truth, a place where you can come and you can speak. And today we're not doing a live reaction video. We're actually going to do something else. We're going to talk about 457, and we're going to see why is that the date that us Seventh-day Adventists use and not the other two dates that are in existence. I think there's another one also, but we're going to just talk about the three for now. And you know how we teach on this video and on this channel, we go straight to the LNYAI, where it is programmed to all her writings and we get a comprehensive answer, like if she was alive today and what she's saying and stuff like that. So before I did this video, I have already prayed. So we're going to jump right into it. So let me share my screen so we can get right into it, my friends. Give me 1 second. All right. So let's get right into it. So I already set up the first question. We're here at the LNYAI. I already set up the first question. And the first question is, if she was talking to a person today about the truth of 457 BC, how would she prove to them that that is the true date rather than the other two? So what we're going to do, my friends, is we're going to take a look at the AI and what she would say if she was alive today and why that date, the 457, is the one that God chose to use and not the other two dates that are in basically competition with that date. The people that are non-Seventh-day Adventists, they use the other two dates to prove things that they think that's truth. We use this date. So we're going to take a look and we're going to see what she says specifically on how she would talk to a person today if she was alive. So let's get right into it. All right, my friend. So let's get right into it. If she was alive today, she would likely point to the biblical and historical evidence. She relied on widely accepting the understanding of 457 BC as the decree of Ezra 7, supported by scholars like William Miller. Also, prophetic fulfillment. She affirmed that 457 fits Daniel's 970-week prophet, leading to Christ's ministry and crucifixion, and also divine confirmation. She believed her visions confirmed the date and revealed the truth. So if she was alive today, she would take them to these interesting points, which is biblical and historical evidence. Also in the Bible, we have the decree of 457 specifically in there. Maybe we'll take a look at that in a few minutes. She also says that the timing is 100% correct, fitting in the 490 years of Christ's ministry. So let's ask this question. Is there anything else she would say to show that the 457 date is the right one? Let's see what the AI says. We're going to ask to see, is there anything else she would say besides that? Okay, so there is some other things that she would say. The AI goes to say she would add consistency with prophecy, emphasizing that 457 aligns perfectly with the 2003 day prophecy of Daniel 8:14, leading to 1844. She also would point to historical records and cite circular sources supporting Artaxerxes' reign. So she would also go to history and the rejection of the alternative. She argued that the other dates like 458 and 5445 don't fit the prophetic math of Christ's timeline. So these are other ways that she will go, and she would use these things to, you know, show proof for that. I'm interested in this one. So I would like to see, why did she reject the other ones? Let's see what it says there. Let's see why exactly was there a rejection from Ellen White of the other two prophecies. All right. So Ellen White rejected the affirmed dates 458 BC and 455 BC because, let's get into it, prophetic accuracy. Only 457 fits the 70-week of prophecy and the 2,300-day prophecy pointing to Christ's baptism, AD 27, and of judgment. Also, the historical position. She upheld that 457 as a decree effective date, when later the decree of 455 under Nehemiah didn't match the prophetic requirements and divine confirmation. Her visions affirmed that 457 because, as God ordained, dismissed human revisions in the great controversy. So she rejected the other two dates because they didn't fit the prophetic timeline. Let's ask, is there any other info on why she would reject those dates? See, let's see what the AI says, see if we can get any more info. All right, so it's going to go and say like this. She would reject the proposed dates of 458 BC and 455 BC for these reasons. The decree's nature. 457 Ezra is a full decree restoring Jerusalem's civil and religious authority. Command to restore and build. 458 Ezra's return lacked royal authority to fully restore the. So she's saying that if she was alive today, she would say that she would reject the 458 because there was lack of royal authority to fully restore the city. For the 445 one, it's only talking about rebuilding the walls and not a full prophetic command. Interesting. She would reject the 455 one because there's not a full prophetic command. Something interesting that I learned. Also, the prophecy math fails with the other dates. The 70 weeks ends, the half of the 70 weeks, where there's 3.5 and 3.5. The first 3.5 ends in 27, showing us, no, the start, my apologies. The start of that starts at 27. So she's saying 457 fits perfectly with the 483 years, exactly the 69 years. And the 458 and the other two would misalign Christ's timeline. Also, the 2,300-day prophecy is another reason why we know that the 457 is the correct one, because it leads to the cleansing of the sanctuary. Let's take a look at that in the Bible. If my camera goes off, it's because when I switch from Bible to Bible, my camera usually turns off. So let's go to Daniel 8:14. And she says, for this verse right here, this is why it specifically fits. It says, he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then the sanctuary shall be cleansed. So there's a perfect fit there. So she says that the other dates disrupt the sanctuary cleansing in 1844 and also divine confirmation. She wrote the 70 weeks are determined and cut off for the Jews, but the 2,300 days couldn't begin until the commandment to rebuild and restore Jerusalem, since the decree of Artaxerxes in 457 is the true starting point. Interesting. She's saying it because of Daniel. If we go to Daniel 9, We're going to go to Daniel 9 towards the end of the chapter 25. Look what it says. It says this is the starting point to the 2,300-day prophecy that we just saw. And it goes, know and therefore and understand that going forth from the command to rebuild Jerusalem. This is why we put the 457 right there. Until the Messiah shall be 70 weeks and 80 weeks. Then the street shall be built up again of the walls in turbulent time. So that's why we believe that it's 457. She also goes on to say that it's the true starting point because was cut off. So if we go back, it says, knowing therefore and going forth from the commandment to rebuild Jerusalem shall be 7 weeks and 80 weeks. So there's the cutoff point also. So let's ask the AI, can you go deeper? Let's see if the AI can go deeper with the information. Okay, let's go a little bit deeper here to see if we can get a deep analyzation of what she was saying. So let's analyze Adventist theology firmly rejecting the alternatives in favor of 457. So the nature of the decree. Ellen White and Adventist scholars argue that Ezra 7, 457 is the only decree that satisfies Daniel 9:25, where it says the command to restore and rebuild Jerusalem. And that's very important because that's the main reason why us Seventh-day Adventists choose that date and not the other one. And it's because that date has the so they can go and build up the temple, but also build up a government. Also set up magistrates and stuff like that. So there you go. Let's keep going. The 458 one of Ezra 6 and Ezra 7. Some suggest that Ezra's early return began the court, but it lacked the royal authority to restore Jerusalem's civil and religious government. Ellen White wrote, the command to rebuild Jerusalem began at 457 when Artaxerxes gave the decree. The 455 one of Nehemiah 2, the decree focuses on only rebuilding the wall, not the full restoration required by prophecy. So the rejection of the 445 one is because it was only rebuilding the wall, and it wasn't the authority to build up governors and magistrates. The prophetic math of the 70-week timeline of the 490 years precisely end at 457 and the crucifixion at 31. This brings us to 27, which is the 69 weeks cutoff, which we know, which matches Christ's baptism of Luke 3:1. Going forth from the commandment until the prince shall be 7 and 80 weeks. So Ellen White stressed that the 70 weeks were to reach the Messiah, the anointed one, and was to fill the anointed one at Jesus' baptism. So they also will point to the 2,300-day prophecy, which we already saw. So let's look at the conclusion. The conclusion, why would she reject other dates? 458, lack of authority to restore Jerusalem, only temple focus. 445, only about walls, not full prophetic command. Both interpret disinterpret Christ's timeline and 1844. So these are the reasons why they will reject that. So what we're going to do is right now, we're going to take a look at the timeline. I have a picture here, which I want to share with everyone. Just give me 1 second and let me find it. Very interesting information that we see there, how if she was alive, she would answer that. So very, very interesting. So I'm just looking for the timeline here. Okay, I found it. Just give me 1 quick second here. We're going to take a look at let's take a look at this timeline, the 2,300-day prophecy. All right, found it. Let me just airdrop it to myself, to my iPad. And it's going to pop up right on the screen. All right. All right. Here we go. All right, friends. So this is the whole 2,300 day prophecy of Daniel 8:14, where it says that the sanctuary will be cleansed. The starting point, 457, right here, the decree to rebuild Jerusalem. This prophecy stretches 2,300 days or years, because the Bible says that I have given you a day for a year. So add up the math, it brings us to 1844. But inside of this, we have the 70-week prophecy, Daniel 9:24 and on, which is the 490 years. So we place the Ezra 457, which takes us of what Ellen White was saying, that if we add this, it'll take us straight to the baptism of Jesus in 27 AD, and it keeps correlating with the death of Christ at 31, and then it keeps going until the death of Stephen in 34, and that officially ends the 490-year prophecy for the Jews at Stephen's stoning, and the gospel is preached to the Gentiles. Now, this is only one part of the 2,300-day prophecy, but also in the prophecy we have the 1,260-year day prophecy. So in this prophecy, we have a couple of things, but we're talking about the 457, and this is the date that we use. And I'm showing this picture here because that's one of the proofs that Ellen White said, that the reason why we use this date is because it corroborates with the 1844. If they was to put the other decrees, this date wouldn't be 1844. It would be different dates. And also they would have to show proof of how the other ones go directly with the time that they put, but they will have a big problem proving that, because they will have to prove that judgment starts at that time, that the investigative judgment starts at that time. And that's virtually impossible, because the Bibles are very clear on how the investigative judgment started in 1844 of Daniel 7. So my friends, 457, we can we can have confidence in it over the other dates that is not, because of this prophetic timeline that I'm showing you right here, my friends, and many other reasons that we read today. So today we have proved why 457 is the correct date, because of much historical proof and because of much other proof. We're going to continue to make these hard videos. We're going to continue to make these videos. So keep sharing it with your friends as we make these videos, and keep coming back, because there's just a lot to say and a lot to do. We're going to also look on how the little horn, who's the little horn and stuff like that. So we're going to take a look at stuff like that. So keep coming back. Press the like button. Just you pressing the like button can help me to get this message out to the world, where we're trying to prove the truth of the Bible and what's really said. Also, keep coming back. Like I said, we're going to keep producing much videos. We're going to answer a lot of questions. We're going to have a lot of live reactions and stuff like that. But I hope today I was able to Ellen White AI and reasons why the 457 is the date and the other ones is not the date. And when you come to truth and to knowledge, it's so simple. The reason why is not the other dates are not the date, because it doesn't fit with the prophetic timeline of the Messiah. It doesn't fit with the investigative judgment. It just doesn't fit. So my brothers and sisters, let's keep coming back and let's keep doing this together. God bless you. Everyone is in my prayers, and I love you all. Comment in the comment selection if you have anything to say, or anything that you want me to make videos of. Just comment, and also we could be friends. Just comment in the comment below. We can talk. We could be friends. It's not even a problem. I'm here. If you have any questions, just put it below. God bless you all. Love you all, and keep coming back. 457 has been proven. This is Adventist AI Abe signing out. God bless you, my friends.